Speaking out. After more than 2 decades in public life, Fort Charlotte MP Alfred Sears says he's stepping away from Attorney General to Cabinet Minister and even a bid for party leadership. Tonight, Sears reflects on a career that helped shape modern Bahamian politics. But first, a mother's worst nightmare and a fiance's heartbreak. Jared Williams Evans shot and killed just days after celebrating his 21st birthday. Now, his loved ones want someone to come forward. And Marines on the ground in Los Angeles as nightly protests growing more intense. A Bahamian living just minutes away tells our news what it's really like as the unrest unfolds. Then in our news at 7:30, top executives reportedly try to oust the president, but she's not backing down, calling it an attempted coup. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. We begin with a mother's grief and a fiance's heartbreak. The family of Jared Williams Evans demanding answers after he was shot and killed just 2 days after his birthday. Delvado Emmanuel gets us started tonight. He tells us that loved ones appealing to anyone with information to come forward.
Emotions ran high Tuesday as the fiance of the country's latest homicide victim recounted the final moments she spent with her partner. Jared William Evans, who was gunned down shortly after midnight on Monday, was one of 2 men shot while at a business establishment on Cordo Avenue. He was just blocks away from his mother's home on Market Street. Chanel Rowe tells us the moment she got the call, no parent ever wants to receive.
I get the bombing on my house at around 12 o'clock. I was like, who this is? I look out the front window. I say, who that is? So he replied, just Davy, come. I said, what happened? He said, Jared, yes, shoot.
His family remembers him as kind, full of life, and loved by everyone who knew him. Just hours before the 21-year-old was killed, he spent the entire day with his fiancée, Ciara McKenzie. The young couple had just celebrated their birthdays days apart, surrounded by friends and family.
He called his family to let them know we're doing the ATVs. We want to ride out to make it fun for our birthday. After that, we wasn't ready to go home. We still wanted to have more fun, so we went on the tracks. He got his little photos that he wanted. He wanted everybody to see him popping, so he got everything that he wanted.
It was a day filled with joy, and one of his sisters, Denisha Russell, says she'll never forget.
He called and he said he wanted me to go riding with him. And I told him I didn't want to go. I said, what if I had work? You called me last minute. He said, well, you better tell them it's a family emergency because we beat in the town. You only live once.
Now the family's left to pick up the pieces, facing yet another heartbreak just months after losing another child to health complications. But through the grief, Jared's mother shared this heartfelt message.
I'm really disappointed. And I want to say to the community and to the public, if you all see something, you all know something, come forward, please.
Reporting for our news, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
All right, thanks for that, Delvado. And another tragic twist to the holiday weekend after a man falls from a mango tree and doesn't survive. Police say it happened on Kim Crescent, just off Blue Hill Road. Police called the media to the scene shortly before 5 p.m. on Whit Monday. That's where they say they found the man, believed to be in his 40s, lifeless on the ground. Inspector Gerard Culmer shared what investigators know so far.
Preliminary reports from members of the public who was seen, they stated that a male was in the tree about 20 feet high and he fell and hit the floor and collapsed. We are still at the preliminary stages of investigation as we are waiting autopsy of this matter.
And a 32-year-old man is behind bars on allegations of unlawful sex with a minor twice this year. Prosecutors allege D'Angelo Halbert had sexual relations with a 14-year-old girl who couldn't legally give consent because she's under the age of 16. The illegal hookups allegedly took place on New Year's Day and May 3rd. Halbert didn't have to enter a plea when he stood before Magistrate Kendra Kelly Burrows, but he was denied bail and he's set to return to court on July 21st. And now to Fort Charlotte Member of Parliament Alfred Sears, who says he will not seek re-election. Sears making the announcement in the House of Assembly Tuesday afternoon, marking the end of a long political career. Sears was first elected in Fort Charlotte in 2002, held the seat until 2012. He served under 2 Christie administrations, holding key posts, including Attorney General and Minister of Education. In 2017, Sears made a failed bid for PLP leadership, losing to Perry Christie. He returned to Parliament in 2021 under the Davis administration, serving as Minister of Public Works and later Minister of Immigration and National Insurance after a cabinet reshuffle. In Tuesday's session, Sears reflected on his time in public life.
I speak today with a deep sense of gratitude, reflection, and humility. After much prayer, thoughtful discussion with my family, and critical reflection, I have advised the Prime Minister and the leadership of the Fort Charlotte branch that I will not be seeking a nomination in the upcoming general elections. This moment marks not an end, but a transition, one rooted in grace, perspective, and purpose.
All right, now to Los Angeles, where a Bahamian living in the city telling our news he's just 10 minutes away from the chaos unfolding downtown. The city has seen days of unrest following a wave of immigration raids launched by the Trump administration on Friday. Hundreds of U.S. Marines have since arrived under orders from President Donald Trump, who also activated 4,000 National Guardsmen despite strong opposition from California Governor Gavin Newsom. Bahamian resident Kai Strawn says the situation is getting worse by the day, especially after dark.
During the weekend, I was actually in there because I was, out with friends, and they were literally downtown. They shut it down and they were all over the streets, and I was literally walking through it. And I was just like, wow, this is literally reminding me of like I said, George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement, very, very similar situation.
Local law enforcement has been working around the clock to contain the protests, urging residents and even members of the press to keep a safe distance. Strawn says he hopes fellow Bahamians in the city are staying safe and encourages them to remain in close contact with the Bahamian consulate.
I don't think they've reached out yet, but normally they're pretty good at it. They usually send out an email or, I have a couple of people that work in there. They haven't sent out anything yet. I think they're probably just waiting to see if things pick up more. But the way it's going, honestly, they're going to have protests every day this week. They already have it scheduled. It's all over social media. It's getting crazy.
And we've got more on those protests coming up in our World News segment. And with travel trends shifting and growing global competition, the Ministry of Tourism hitting the road again Tuesday, this time in Orlando, making sure the Bahamas stays front and center for travelers. Tourism Director General Latia Duncombe says the latest global sales mission will gather more than 200 guests and nearly 24 Bahamian stakeholders. It's all aimed at strengthening ties in one of the country's most important markets.
The U.S. represents north of 80% of our stopover business to the destination. And the state of Florida is the most significant when we look at the delivery of business. Yes, our visitors come and they enjoy sun, sand, and sea, but that short flight from Florida into many of our islands in the destination gives us the opportunity to share so much more. Our culture, our history, our heritage, our festivals, who we are as a people. And we've seen over the years they continue to return. We are reminding them about the islands of the Bahamas, showing them what's new, and making sure that they're aware.
And Duncombe says this is just the first of two big missions, with the team heading to Miami on Wednesday. But what does it really take to actually turn an ordinary space into a full-on taste of the Bahamas?
When we look at the planning stage from inception to the vote of thanks, it is truly a mammoth task. And we do not hire an event planning team. It's all the Ministry of Tourism teams. So right now you see everyone in tennis shoes, and they're putting up the signs, lifting the boxes, putting up the displays, the step and repeat, the light box. It's all being done. Our teams are going to be behind the audio visual, directing the program. Everything that you could think of going into an event is done by Team Tourism.
All right, we've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he's standing by in the Weather Center. Happy Tuesday, Greg.
Happy Tuesday to you, and good evening, everybody. Pretty nice conditions on the outside, not quite as warm, but the feels like temperature is up there. It's 81 degrees outside our studios with, that should be mostly cloudy skies. East winds, 40 miles per hour. We have a bit of a breeze. but it's not shaving much off the feels-like temperatures. Temperatures around the islands right now, 85 in Freeport, 82 Alistown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros, 85 there, 83s in Great Harbour Key, Marshall, Barbacoa, Governor's Harbour, 84. Central Bahamas, all in the mid-80s there with 84s across most locations, exception Georgetown and Port Nelson, both at 85. And into the Southeast Bahamas, 84s and 85s down there. Our good neighbors in the Southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands, your temperature right now is a warm 86. Satellite radar composite. High pressure stretching across the area from the Atlantic, and we have some moisture rounding the western side of that. That's bringing us some cloudy conditions as well as some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We will continue this regime for the next day or two, so look for some scattered showers, but the breeze will continue as the high strengthens across the area over the next several days. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, the under-12 baseball team falls short in the Dominican Republic, and Tavario Miller Sr. looks to advance to the semifinals in Argentina.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
That was Judah saying, my name is Judah the Lion. I am Shad Fur. That's Kennison. This is Charlie Bahama. You know what's going on.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. The Bahamas under-12 national team is in the Dominican Republic taking on the region's best. Our Ronaldo Dorset is on the ground and fills us in on the action.
They came in as underdogs and had a tournament run that had everyone here in San Cristobal locked in, but ultimately, Team Bahamas came up just short in the semifinals.
The team finished with a 3-1 record in group play and were eliminated in the semis today by the Dominican Republic host team at the Pony Baseball 12U Caribbean and Latin American Zone Championships. Josiah Filterman doubled off the wall in the top of the first inning, but offense was hard to come by for Team Bahamas. In group play, they began the tournament with a dominant 21-0 win over El Salvador. Gianno Newball, Isaac Richardson, and Bosfield Butler each drove in 3 runs. Game 2 was a hard-fought 7-6 loss to the Dominican Republic championship team in a game that wasn't decided until the bottom of the 7th inning. In Game 3, Bahamas got back on track with a 9-4 win over Panama. Wade and Bain hit 2 home runs and finished 3 for 3 with 4 RBI. Carmelo Wallace dominated on the mound and pitched a complete game with 9 strikeouts. It took a 3-hour rain delay changing the location of the field, but the Bahamas advanced to the semifinal with a 10-4 win over Ecuador.
Tavario Miller Sr. is in playoff mode, and his team is looking to make noise in Argentina. After finishing the season as the 4th seed, Miller Sr. and his team Quisma are 1 win away from making the semifinals in La Liga Nacional in Argentina. That would do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as U.S. President Donald Trump orders troops into Los Angeles as protests swell over immigration raids. The Pentagon says the move comes with a $134 million price tag. Plus, the Diddy trial continues as a woman testifies she regrets what she claims was a toxic lifestyle. And the Satanic Temple says Iowa officials discriminated by denying their holiday display while allowing Christian ones. We'll share the details when our news returns.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trevor Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
That was Judah saying, my name is Judah the Lion. I am Shad Ferd. That's Kennison. This is Charlie Bahama. You know what's going on.
Right, look at this could be a show. We're here at Carnival because we have talent in the house. You know our Carnival has talented different people. We have talented different people. Not me. I'm just here to hold the mic for these 3 gentlemen here. Charlie Bahama this week right here at Cable Bahamas Channel 212.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. United States President Donald Trump has ordered Marines and more National Guard troops to Los Angeles despite pushback from California's governor and local leaders. The move comes as protests grow over recent immigration raids. Most demonstrations have been peaceful, but tensions flared in cities like Austin, where 4 officers were injured and police had to use tear gas. The Pentagon now says the LA deployment will cost $134 million. California's Attorney General is suing, calling the deployment a violation of state rights. Los Angeles Mayor is Karen Bass.
What we're seeing in LA is chaos caused by the administration. People should exercise their right to protest. That's their First Amendment right. But people should also exercise that right peacefully. We do not want to play into the administration's hands.
A woman testifying under a pseudonym told a New York jury Tuesday that she took part in sex acts with male workers at Sean Diddy Combs' request, saying she did it to feel loved, but now regrets the lifestyle. Combs, who has been jailed without bail, has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering. Prosecutors say he used violence and manipulation for decades. The ongoing trial has already featured graphic testimony from ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, who says she endured years of abuse. Satanic Temple, accusing Iowa state officials of religious discrimination, saying they were unfairly denied access to the Capitol for a holiday display. The American Civil Liberties Union of Iowa recently filed a complaint claiming state leaders blocked the group's 2024 event after allowing similar Christian displays. The case follows backlash last year when a man destroyed the group's approved display of Baphomet, which sat beside a Christmas tree in the Capitol Rotunda. Officials cited concerns over costumes and child safety, but the temple calls it an absurd excuse. And Tropical Storm Barbara is losing strength as it moves northwest after briefly becoming the first hurricane of the eastern Pacific season. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Barbara could still generate dangerous surf and rip currents along parts of Mexico's Pacific coast and southern Baja California. The storm, with winds near 60 miles per hour, is expected to dissipate by Wednesday. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was June 10th. Then in our news at 7:30, why now might be the right time to move to Freeport in tonight's City in Focus. But first, a devastating fire strikes Christ the King Church in Ridgeland Park just hours after a major church milestone. Parishioners try to pick up the pieces when our news returns.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on my services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
That was Judah saying, my name is Judah the Lion. I am Shad Ferd. That's Kennison. This is Charlie Bahama. You know what's going on.
Right, look at this could be a show. We're here at Carnival because we have talent in the house. You know our Carnival has talented different people. We have talented different people. Not me. I'm just here to hold the mic for these three gentlemen here. Charlie Bahama, this week, right here at Cable Bahamas Channel 212.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in
this day in Bahamian history in 1741, Governor John Tinker laid the foundation stone of Fort Montague, designed by engineer Peter Henry Bruce. In 1982, The Bahamas held general elections with 4 parties and independents contesting 43 seats. The Progressive Liberal Party won 32 seats, forming the new government with Lyndon Pindling continuing as prime minister. Then in 2013, the United States Embassy in Nassau suspended visa services after one of its diplomats was assaulted and robbed on the way to church. Over a dozen Bahamians, some of whom flew in from the Family Islands, were turned away.
You can try to see if you can get a refund.
You promise a refund for this money?
I don't promise anything.
A warning was issued to U.S. citizens in the Bahamas about the risks of armed robberies, although visa processing resumed the next day. And in 2014, Leon Williams was reappointed CEO of BTC 6 years after his termination. He replaced Jeff Houston, who had been appointed in April 2011 when the company was privatized. Then Cable and Wireless Chairman Phil Bentley.
We are here to serve the Bahamian people.
All right, the Bahamas Carnival season has officially ended, wrapping up a weekend of events. Our Danielle Miller attended a brunch fete, which was headlined by the 2024 Trinidad and Tobago Road March champion. She ends this half hour with all the highlights.
It was one of the most anticipated events of the carnival season.
Once again, it's all about Sausage and Grits 2025.
The brunch fete's clever name perfectly accentuated the essence of the event. By the time we arrived shortly after 8 p.m., we were greeted with the aroma of food, most notably grits. On display, a taco station, jerk, fresh fruit, and an endless amount of adult beverages. On stage, a lineup of some of the country's best DJs. This fete was not limited to just soca music, but a Caribbean mashup that made the dance floor irresistible. Artists Tonash, Julian Believe, Rick Carey hit the stage, ahead of a surprise appearance from Trinidad and Tobago entertainer Oscar B. And in a climatic performance, international soca artist Makal Teja took the energy over the top.
Coming here in Bahamas for the first time and, seeing people singing the music, enjoying it, and you could tell that it's something that really resonates with them. I mean, it's definitely a surreal feeling for me.
Makal was not the only one hypnotized by this moment, as he sung a harmonious blend of his hits and classic calypso music, the rhythm hitting our souls and feet.
Ready for a brand new discovery. Calypso, calypso, calypso music.
We surely did have a time at Sausage. One day I promise I could get this. Sausage and Grits. The organizers tell me this is going to be an annual event, so I can't wait to see what they have in store next season. Reporting for our news, I'm Danielle Miller.
All right, Denny, thanks so much for that story. If you want to watch our story again and for all of today's top stories, you can head over to rnews.bs, and of course you can share your favorite stories right from the R News Bahamas Facebook page. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. We will have 7:30 news coming up right after this.
Ahead on our News Tonight Live at 7:30, unrest at the Nurses Union's headquarters today in an attempt to force the sitting president out of office in what she describes as an attempted coup by her own executives. But not so fast. The embattled leader says she's still in charge, calling it a personal vendetta. And a battle at the polls. Incumbent Teachers Union president.
Hey, are you looking to save for a big purchase or occasion? Well, let me introduce myself.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Setamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
At Struckham, we're all about peace of mind. With the latest tools and technology like PestPack, managing pest control just got easier. It's simple. Log on to the portal to review past services or monitor trends. Just tap Service Reports to access detailed records and see how we're keeping your business pest-free. You can even customize permissions so your teams in maintenance and health and safety have real-time access to everything they need. With PestPack, you're in control, anytime, anywhere. Get ready to simplify pest management with just a few taps.
Inti Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, Inti redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. Inti is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as Inti Corporation shines brighter than ever. Inti Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago.
Welcome to our News Live at 7:30. I'm Jerome Sawyer in for Italia Hall tonight. We begin with unrest that's unfolding within the Bahamas Nurses Union as top executives reportedly move to oust the current president, Muriel Lightbourne. But Lightbourne is pushing back, insisting she's firmly in charge of the healthcare union, despite what she calls an attempted coup by some members of her own executive team. Now, Lightbourne says she remains the duly elected president of the union, even as union executives penned a letter declaring she's no longer a union member and therefore cannot conduct union business. But the BNU president is rejecting that claim, calling the letter legally baseless and driven by a personal vendetta.
The letter that they would have generated, that they would have given to the police after he came back to my house. And talking to my lawyer, the police had to tell them they cannot do nothing with this. They cannot use that letter. And so that is that. I don't even know why they think that they have the power to do what they're doing. They're not hurting me.
Lightbourne says when she arrived at her office on Tuesday, she was met by a man claiming to be a police officer. She says the plainclothes officer allegedly demanded keys to a union vehicle. Now, according to Lightbourne, the tension stems from an earlier financial dispute involving former executives.
These persons do not want to pay this money back to the union. The nurses are saying that they want their monies back. I am the president. I cannot go against the nurses, the membership of the union. And so if they say they want their money back, they want their money back.
Of course, it's a story we continue to follow. Meanwhile, hundreds of members of the Bahamas Union of Teachers headed to the polls today to decide whether to keep the current president, Belinda Wilson, or to vote in a new head of the BUT. The vice president's post had at least a dozen more positions also up for grabs, but many are keeping a close eye on who will lead the union once the votes are all counted. Teachers casting votes from as early as 8 this morning at polling divisions across the country. Wilson telling our news she's confident in winning a 7th term. The incumbent president says she has unfinished business.
Very smooth. There are one or two islands we're getting some calls that we may have some ballots that are short or one or two ballots that are not there, but for the most part, we're running smoothly. I believe that the members are familiar with the good work that I've done over the years, and I believe that they will give me the honor of serving them.
Well, the union's current assistant treasurer, Julia Hanna, is challenging Wilson for that top post, claiming things have fallen through the cracks over the years. She says now is the time for change.
Too long. She's been there too long. And we cannot continuously do the same thing and expect a different result. Right now, our union has no respect. Our union is not respected, and so we have to reclaim that and rebuild that trust and that bond. A lot of the members right now, far and wide as we campaign, is calling for change. We're calling for change. Okay, and so we need the membership to benefit from the union. Right now, the members are not benefiting from the union. And the union, again, like I said, belongs to the members and not to Miss Belinda Wilson.
We'll stay with our news for details on today's vote. Fort Charlotte Member of Parliament Alfred Sears says he will not run in the next general election. Sears making that announcement in the House of Assembly this afternoon. It brings to an end a long career for him in frontline politics. He served under 2 consecutive Christie administrations and was first elected as an MP for Fort Charlotte back in 2002, a position he held up until 2012. During his time in public life, he served as Attorney General as well as Minister of Education. Sears was re-elected to Parliament in 2021 and served in the Davis administration as the Minister of Public Works until 2023, when he was made Minister of Immigration and National Insurance following a cabinet shuffle. Well, in 2017, Sears also ran for leadership of the PLP. He lost to then PLP leader Perry Christie. In Parliament today, he reflected on his political life.
I speak today with a deep sense of gratitude, reflection, and humility. After much prayer, thoughtful discussion with my family, and critical reflection, I have advised the Prime Minister and the leadership of the Fort Charlotte branch that I will not be seeking a nomination in the upcoming general elections. This moment marks not an end, but a transition, one rooted in grace, perspective, and purpose.
On to some other news tonight. A mother's grief and a fiance's heartbreak tonight after 21-year-old Jared Williams Evans was gunned down early Monday morning, just 2 days after celebrating his birthday. He was shot on Cordo Avenue, just blocks from his mother's home on Market Street. His loved ones say he was full of life and had spent the day before surrounded by friends and family. Now they're pleading for answers, urging anyone with any information to come forward. If you want to see the full story, it's available right now on Our News Bahamas on Facebook, and you can also visit ournews.bs, where you'll find that and a lot more of today's top stories. 2 teenagers are facing some serious charges for those back-to-back shootings in Pinewood Gardens last week. Prosecutors allege the 17-year-olds, who cannot be named because they're minors, were assisted in their crimes by 22-year-old Eric Sims and 31-year-old Arthur Ferguson. Their charges are tied to a double shooting on June 1st that killed Philip Ferguson and nearly killed D'Angelo Bastian. The charges are murder, attempted murder, and possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger life. Their accomplices, Sims and Ferguson, are accused of planning the crimes. The following day, the teens allegedly opened fire on a car that was carrying Delanzo Cartwright Jr. and Jason Woodside. They were not required to plead to those charges when they stood before Senior Magistrate Algernon Allen Jr. Bail was denied. They returned to court on August 22nd for a voluntary bill of indictment papers, fast-tracking that case over to the Supreme Court. Well, parishioners at Christ the King Church in Ridgeland Park are still sifting through charred rubble left by a fire that destroyed their pantry area and several offices on Sunday. The blaze discovered right after the church celebrated one of the most important events on the Christian calendar. Our Joshua Williams stopped by this morning and picks up the story from here.
What started as a day of Pentecost celebration for members of Christ the King Anglican Church on Sunday quickly turned into a near tragedy. Following their morning service around 10 a.m., leadership at the church were called by two members who, as fate would have it, turned back to get their mother's hymn book. That's when they spotted smoke rising from the building. Rector of the church, Archdeacon Dwight Rule, says their quick action likely saved the church from burning to the ground.
He said, before you come home, go and get my hymn book so it doesn't get misplaced. And so they did that. And I feel as though if they did not, that our state would have been worse than what you see here today.
Burned walls, floors, and roofing, scattered debris, and damaged furniture tells the tale of what happened on Sunday, even in the main sanctuary where the fire didn't spread. Evidence of the smoke was visible as ash still blanketed the floor of the church. Now I'm standing in what used to be the pantry of the church. Archdeacon Roll telling me the fire might have started in this area.
See? The sacristy is where the priest vests. Then we have the area where the servers also ready themselves for worship. And then we have what was the old church office.
Members of the church were a big part of the cleanup process. Archdeacon Roll says it's a testament to his members' commitment to their church, and while the fire will cost the church thousands to repair, he's looking at the bright side.
We just want the prayers of the community, those who can assist by way of helping us to restore this area. Of course, we would be grateful. We also, this being our 60th year of dedication, this was a part of our renovation plans. And so when you look at it, maybe it speeds up the process.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Well, we certainly wish the folks well over there at Christ the King and hope they get things back to normal very quickly. Well, it's time now for our first look at temperatures on the outside. And meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by live in the Weather Centre tonight. Greg, I saw earlier the temperatures were in the 80s, but it still feels like 90s, 100 sometimes.
89. That's what it feels like on the
well,
outside.
Technically, I guess it's still in the 80s, right?
Yeah. And by the way, that previous story, that's my old parish.
Well, you definitely got to go and donate that.
Yeah, I'll try and get it there.
Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, mostly cloudy skies on the outside right now. 81 degrees is the actual temperature. Feels like temperature is well up there. 89 is what it feels like. But we have a bit of a breeze, so hopefully that'll shave some of the temperatures, or those digits of those temperatures. Satellite radar composite. We have a ridge of high pressure extending across our area that's basically keeping us in a breezy pattern, but some moisture is rounding the western periphery or the western edge of that ridge. So we're looking at some clouds as well as some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We will remain in this regime for at least another day or two before things start to dry out. We do expect some Saharan dust by Wednesday, Thursday, but those warm temperatures will continue. Triple-digit indices expected for the next several days. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
And still to come on Our News tonight, time to punch the clock and get to work. Hundreds of students are getting ready to get on the job with the launch of the Ministry of Youth's annual job placement program. And if you're a Grand Bahamian in Nassau and you're ready to go back home, tonight's City in Focus has what you've been looking for. The Grand Bahama Port Authority is in town looking to bring Grand Bahamians back to the Magic City. Our Candido Knowles has the inside track. And later, the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta sorority giving some young adults in transition that feeling of home. 6 smart TVs for the Radfully Homes facility for working young adults still in need of a helping hand. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March.
500 college and high school students are heading to work this summer at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's annual program. Participants will get an opportunity for summer jobs in the public and private sectors. While launching the Grand Bahama portion of the program, Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Mario Boleg talked about the high level of interest from students and employers.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture intends to hire over some 500 plus young persons from high school and college to be placed in the Department of Sports, Culture or Youth, and also to be deployed to corporate Bahamas for employment. We are happy and elated that we have had an overwhelming, as usual, persons applying.
Well, the ministry sets out to give teens and young adults real-world, on-the-job experience as they prepare for graduation and entrance into the job market. Cultural Officer Lachey Charles also talks about the student creative camps.
Here in the Division of Cultural Affairs in Grand Bahama, we intend to employ 30 young students throughout the cultural organizations in Grand Bahama, including the Performance Alive Camp, the Film Camp, and other cultural organizations on the island. In addition to that, we also have created a Junkanoo Summer Camp, and it will be in 2 cohorts for 2-week intervals. We intend to facilitate 100 students, preparing them for Junior Junkanoo Parade.
Sounds like a great program. Well, from Carnival's Celebration Key to promises of a revamped Grand Lucayan Resort, there are a lot of potentially lucrative projects on the horizon for Grand Bahama. And that means now may be a good time to think about relocating north or returning home. Grand Bahama Port Authority was recently here in Nassau pitching Freeport as the place to live, work, and build businesses. Our news anchor, Candino Knowles, tells us more in this edition of City in Focus.
Grand Bahama, Freeport will never succeed unless we bring our stakeholders with us.
Grand Bahama Port Authority co-chair Rupert Hayward says the biggest stakeholder right here in Nassau. And that's why GBPA recently opened an office in New Providence. They're promoting Freeport's comeback and its benefits to all Bahamians. Carnival Celebration Key opens next month, and Grand Lucayan set to be revamped by 2028. With over a dozen projects underway, Grand Bahama already the fastest growing economy in the Bahamas. Yet its 40,000 residents fill just a fraction of the 250,000 person capacity in the city's master plan.
You'll see road networks and fully serviced plots that have limited development on them. So, any incremental increase in people in Grand Bahama builds opportunity for Grand Bahamians.
Hayward says adding just 20,000 people from Nassau or anywhere in the Bahamas could unleash major growth. Those new residents would fill restaurants, cinemas, and nightclubs, pumping money into small businesses.
Suddenly you've got 20,000 people that are sitting in your restaurant, they're going to the opticians, they're going to your cinema, they're going to your nightclub. And those are all Bahamian-owned businesses, Bahamian small and medium-sized businesses, that the lifeblood of our economy that are benefiting from that migration, hopefully from Nassau, right? If we don't need to bring foreigners in, we can bring them all from the Bahamas. That's the greatest scenario ever.
And Freeport keeps things simple for entrepreneurs. Hayward touted one license through GBPA that gives you a bond and lets you import duty-free.
And that could be as much as 40-50% if you're building a home or building an office. All of your supplies that you need for that business are duty-free.
And it's not just for work.
It's a great place for a family. It's safe. There's no traffic. You're 60 miles away from the U.S. if you need it, and you're 120 miles away from Nassau if you want to come home. So come and see us.
Reporting for our news, I'm Candino Knowles.
And still in Grand Bahama, whether they were dreaming of a backyard oasis, planning a major renovation, or just looking for fresh ideas to spruce up a space, Third Dimension's Home Expo this weekend was the place to get it all. The Grand Bahama Company wrapped it all into the Pelican Bay Resort over the weekend with everything from real estate companies to law firms to local banks and even construction companies. Described as a one-stop shop for home improvement, it looks to be the start of something special for Grand Bahama.
From it being our first annual Home and Hardware Expo, we had a lot of exhibitors present their products, things that people would need to build their homes and renovate their products, their projects.
So yes, we plan to do this event annually. So this event will be done on an even greater scale, hopefully next year. So we urge persons to look forward to that each year.
And some of the big corporate sponsors happy to lend support included the Grand Bahama Port Authority and Alive.
We thought it fitting that we would come here and explain our processes of the Building and Development Services Department. Pretty much anything you're doing relative to construction, you would have to come and see us.
We had a slew of our products, from the doorbells to the floodlight cameras. It was definitely worthwhile. We enjoyed our few hours here, but we had lots of people come to the table, ask us what about some promotions we have going on.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, a donation of 6 smart TVs from the ladies of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, helping to give some young adults in transition that feeling of home.
Coming up in sports, the under-12 baseball team falls short in the Dominican Republic, and Tavario Miller Sr. looks to advance to the semifinals in Argentina.
That's coming up when our news return.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been alive.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. The Bahamas under-12 national team is in the Dominican Republic, taking on the region's best. Our Ronaldo Dorset is on the ground and fills us in on the action.
They came in as underdogs and had a tournament run that had everyone here in San Cristobal locked in, but ultimately, Team Bahamas came up just short in the semifinals.
The team finished with a 3-1 record in group play and were eliminated in the semis today by the Dominican Republic host team at the Pony Baseball 12U Caribbean and Latin American Zone Championships. Josiah Filterman doubled off the wall in the top of the first inning, but offense was hard to come by for Team Bahamas.
It feels good to come out here strong. We had a little bit errors, but we come back and fight strong and bat. And we battled until it was over. So that's how it feels.
In group play, they began the tournament with a dominant 21-0 win over El Salvador. Gianno Newball, Isaac Richardson, and Bosfield Butler each drove in 3 runs. Game 2 was a hard-fought 7-6 loss to the Dominican Republic championship team in a game that wasn't decided until the bottom of the 7th inning. In Game 3, the Bahamas got back on track with a 9-4 win over Panama. Waden Bain hit 2 home runs and finished 3 for 3 with 4 RBI. Carmelo Wallace dominated on the mound and pitched a complete game with 9 strikeouts. It took a 3-hour rain delay, changing the location of the field, but the Bahamas advanced to the semifinal with a 10-4 win over Ecuador. Josiah Filterman was 2 for 2 with 3 RBI, and Xavier Petit had 7 strikeouts in the win.
Over this weekend, these past 5 games, these boys performed very well. 2 lot of strikes, we hit the ball very well. Our defense is pretty impressive as well. At this age, they're going to make 1 or 2 slight mistakes, but that's all right because they end up picking themselves up. And man, these boys, they have a lot of heart, a lot of fight, a lot of energy. I like the way they play it and they stay tough in battle this weekend to the very end. Even though we came on the short end of the stick, they stay tough to land.
Tavario Miller Sr. is in playoff mode, and his team is looking to make noise in Argentina. After finishing the season as the 4th seed, Miller Sr. and his team Quisma are 1 win away from making the semifinals in La Liga Nacional in Argentina. In Game 1, Miller Sr. had a stand-up performance. In 32 minutes of action, he had a 13-point, 11-rebound double-double in a 78-67 win over Obras. Game 2 was a wire-to-wire win for Quisma, where Miller Sr. scored 11 points while grabbing 6 rebounds in an 88-65 win. The series turns to Game 3, where they head to Buenos Aires with a chance to end the series tomorrow night. That would do it for our sports. I surely hope Ronaldo's a part of a frequent flyer program. He's been racking up those miles lately. Back to the studio.
And still to come on our news, for a good cause, the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta sorority give some young adults in transition that feeling of home. Plus, Greg is back with your extended weather forecast.
I saw Raw Bone Saxon. I glad the Wally boys have split, because you know what? They know we ain't got no more competition.
To my opinion, every group is split.
Ain't none of them the real Wally. The real Wally is the 2 of them together. And that's the only way they can combine and beat the Saxon and them other group.
Now you get your young people, you want to listen to the old people. So you all want to make your own group.
I want at least 10% of all the YouTube money that you guys make off of it.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable.
This is our news. Welcome back. Ridge of high pressure from the Atlantic extending across our area, and we do have some moisture on the western periphery or the western edge of that, rounding it, and it's producing some cloudy conditions as well, some showers and thunderstorms across the central and northwest Bahamas actually, but most of the activity staying well to the west. We expect this pattern to continue through tomorrow, but we have some Saharan dust will be moving in, and that should dry things out, but we will return to those 90s and feels like temperature well in the triple digits. The tropics quiet, a couple of tropical waves moving across the tropical belt, one strong one coming off the African coast as we speak. Caribbean Sea, not too bad there, some moisture in that area, and of course the Gulf of Mexico still quiet, but of course high pressure will remain the story of our weather for the next several days. Breezy conditions expected through that period. Speaking of breezy conditions, boating across the northwest Bahamas, the winds will be southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet. High tide is at 8:20 tonight, a low tide at 2:52 tomorrow. Central Bahamas, caution flag for you down there, east to southeast 15 to 20 knots, while in the southeast Bahamas we have an advisory posted. East to southeast 15 to 25 knots, very rough seas running 5 to 8 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we'll keep the moisture in place through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But of course, as I mentioned, Saharan dust moving in. 90-degree temperatures expected for the end of the week, and that will take us into next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
Thank you much, Greg. The only thing I really took away from that forecast, the tropics are quiet. So we're hoping for more of that. Well, finally tonight, the Ranfurly Home for Children now has 6 smart TVs, courtesy of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. The ladies of DST were able to make the donation from their recent inaugural Live Well Summit at Bahama, where 500 sorors from the Bahamas and the U.S. got together. The televisions were given to transition homes for young adults who support themselves but live in private homes on the compound. Administrator Ingrid DeVoe graciously accepted the donation.
We intend to utilize these in our transitional home, where we should have about 6 residents momentarily. A couple of them will be attending the University of the Bahamas, and a lot of them are going into employment. So I know that these televisions will go a long way in helping them, not only with classroom assignment, but also their entertainment and their well-being.
Well done by the ladies in red and white there at Delta Sigma Theta. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's going to do it for our newscast. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Jerome Sawyer. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Until then, you have yourself a wonderful evening. Hello, I'm Jerome Sawyer, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, if you want to continue to receive this great content, be sure and hit that button right over there. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way, you continue to get all of this great content from the team you already trust.